Do you remember your first cigar?
I do. Actually, I do. And I'm 17 years old. I immigrated to Canada from Uruguay to Canada to work. I don't speak English. And my first job is in a kitchen cabinets factory. So to get to work, I will take a bus to the subway station. Take the subway station to the end of the line, take another bus, and that bus will leave me 3/4 of a mile from the factory. This is in the middle of the winter in Toronto. So I had to walk that 3/4 of a mile to work every day.
Okay.
And my clothes were from Uruguay. They were not Canadian clothes. So I would freeze to death every day to go to work. And I was a kid, I was a child, 17 years old. And the people that work with me all day, they will drive by me and they wouldn't even honk. And it was really tough. It was really hard. But there was never a possibility to quit and go back to where I came from. I realized that I was alone. There was no family, there was no friends. And if my life was gonna get any better, I had to make it happen. So I did a lot of growing up in those days. So then I get a job in this restaurant, 10 minutes from my house. So now my life gets better. I don't have to freeze to death to go to work every day. Go to a restaurant, but I get a job as a dishwasher. So, and I don't know if you've ever been in a dishwasher room in a restaurant. It's a pretty hard place to work. Okay, I really don't like this, but it's an improvement from my other job, right? So, and then, I started working in there and I see the bus boys coming in with the dirty plates to the dishwashing room. So now I'm thinking, how do I get to work in the dining room? So the only thing I figured out, it was that I had to become the best dishwasher guy that worked in that restaurant in its history. And I did that. And I was working like an animal. And I say, if I do this consistently, I can talk to the manager and ask him for a chance to go in the dining room. That was my calculation. So a couple of weeks after that, manager comes one day and he says, Litto, I want to congratulate you because you really work like an animal. I never seen anybody move so fast. We had to have 3 guys in here. Now with you and this guy, this place works better than before. And I say to the guy, listen, I really appreciate what you're telling me. But you know why I do it? He goes, no, tell me. I say, I'm doing this and I work the way I work because I want to ask you for an opportunity to become a busboy. And he goes, Litto, but you're the best guy I had here. How am I gonna get you out of this room? And I say, okay, you're absolutely right. But what I'm doing here, the same way I work here, I'm gonna work in the dining room. And what's more important for you, the dining room or the dishwashing room? And he smiled and he said, you're right. And he goes, give me a couple of weeks. Let me find somebody to replace you. And then I give you a chance. So 2 weeks go by. And on a Friday he comes and he goes, Monday you start as a busboy. So now I'm as happy as hell, okay? And Monday comes, come in with a vest, tie, shirt, to work in a climatized dining room. Now I'm a gentleman. That was like a very happy day in my life. And now I applied the same concept that I applied in the dishwashing room. And I learned my job very quick. And then I started studying the waiter. I studied the guy, everything, every move he made, everything he will take, talk to the customers, how he take the orders, how he talks to the people. And I start doing my job and his job. Little by little, I end up doing his job. And he was smoking cigarettes in the back of the restaurant. And he'll give me $3 at the beginning, and they gave me $4 from the tips that he get at the end of the day. He will get $130, $140 average. I'm talking about 1973. You make a lot of money, okay, back in those days. And yeah, he give me $4, and he would say that he's the best busboy in this restaurant. And I was doing my job and his job. And one day, sometime later, I speak to the manager. He say, man, you know, can you give me a chance to become a waiter? And he goes, yeah, I will give you a chance. I know you can do it because you're doing it already. I'm watching you. And he goes, give me about a month. Paolo is going to retire and go back to Italy. And I'll give you a chance. So that was on a Tuesday. I remember that very well. On Friday that week, I come to work and the manager comes and say, Litto, I told you you're going to be a waiter in a month. You're going to be a waiter tonight. We short 2 waiters today. So you're becoming a waiter today. Was happy as hell. And the night went on, I did my work, and at the end of the night, we all get together at the lounge of the restaurant, at the bar, and the manager comes and he goes, congratulations, man, you did a great job. Everybody came out of your station very happy, even a great service. And he goes to behind the bar, and he comes back, and he brings me a cigar. It was a Monte Cristo number 2 from Havana. And I was 18 years old. And that night, I remember it was snowing, very calm. The snow was coming down slowly, no wind, it wasn't cold. And I walked to my house, smoking that cigar, and celebrating a major accomplishment in my life. I became a waiter that night. And my life changed economically. I was an immigrant. I went from making $3 a day to making over $100 a day. And my theory worked. Work your ass out and ask for an opportunity to go to the next level. My life had changed that day. And since then, for many years to come, every time, no matter what my business was or what I was doing at the time, every time I light up a cigar, it will take me to that day. And I couldn't avoid it. My brain just goes to light up a cigar and I get the aroma of the cigar, the tobacco, and it will take me to that day. And it makes my life happy. Little did you know that I was going to end up one day making cigars. How interesting is life. And that's my first cigar. It's and in our conversation before, we were talking about how beautiful I feel about what I do, how great I feel what I do. And it's all related. It's all going back to that day at that restaurant that Friday night. Yeah, yeah. That's how cigars became so important, and I didn't know how important they were going to be later on. So it's. I think it's the first time that I'm saying this, but that's my story with cigar. Yeah.
That's a phenomenal first cigar story. That's terrific. But thank you. I don't think I ever knew that. I don't think I ever asked you that question before.
I never talked about it publicly.
And Amani too. What a great way to start.
And I don't think I was ever asked that story. And thanks for asking it. And it's very interesting. Yeah.